first. If you're listening to the show yesterday, you'll have heard how caravan owners across the UK are joining together to fight for compensation for what they say are rip-off fees from holiday parks. 1,200 current and former owners are seeking compensation over issues like big hikes in pitch fees and huge losses when they sell their caravans back to the parks. Since that story was published, many more people have got in touch with the BBC to share their stories, including Kelly Hughes from Kent, who bought a caravan at a park in Eryri in 2018 and lost more than £20,000 when she sold it back to the park a few months later. So, Kelly, good morning.
Good morning.
And I've got Carole Keeble on the line as well, who set up the Holiday Park Action Group. They're leading the group legal action. How are you, Carole?
Good morning, I'm fine. Thank you.
Good. Actually, before you hear Kelly's story, just give us a sense of how this is growing now. This is gathering momentum, Carole. This is a story that we're seeing more and more.
It's taken 7 years to get it this far, to actually get people to listen and realise what is behind this actual industry. The last few days, thanks to the BBC coverage once again, has really expanded the membership. We're now over 70,000 people, and those 70,000 people are telling the same stories over and over again.
So, well, let's hear Kelly's story then, and I'll ask you not to name the holiday park. I'm sure you're fine with that, Kelly, but what happened to you?
Yeah, so in 2018, I was looking to relocate up to Wales from Kent for work. I'd just finished uni. I'd spent 4 years at uni sort of saving everything I could. Rather than sort of look to buy a house or rent a house, I thought, it's temporary. I'll look at sort of purchasing a caravan that I can sort of temporarily use while I'm up there for work, and then maybe rent out sort of in the summer and stuff to get some of the sort of fees back for, some income for the pitch fees. I purchased a caravan in August 2018 for £30,000. Some things changed around work, so I was then looking to resell in December, and the park initially offered me £8,000 for it. 4 months later, I managed to negotiate that back up to £9,500. I lost over £20,000 on that.
Wow. And do these things have a market value? If it were a car, there'd be enough on the market, you'd have an idea with mileage and age and etc. what an actual an objective value of that machine was. Is a caravan only worth what the park's willing to pay you for it, bearing in mind it's static and it's there?
There was a
yeah. So I kind of felt a little bit trapped because. Sorry.
So go on. I'll come back to Carole in a minute. You carry on, Kelly.
Okay, yeah. So I did a lot of research when I was purchasing it, and I made sure I got one that I could sublet out because that was obviously part of what I needed. But yeah, when I looked to sell, there was a lot of if I didn't sell it back to the park, they added in a load of additional fees for sort of removal from the park, disconnection fees, massive transport fees, things like that. So you do feel kind of trapped selling back. They know that, and they can offer whatever they like for it because they know you're in that position.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Carole?
There is a trade guide for caravans, same as there is for cars with trade, but that is only open to trade. Nobody else will know those prices other than people that are in the trade.
Oh, really? I wasn't aware of that. And and Kelly's story seems fairly typical of those stories I've been hearing and reading over the past few weeks.
Yes, absolutely. That's echoed across the UK. With the page, we do cover all of Scotland, Wales, Ireland, so the whole of the UK, and we can monitor what is going on across all the parks, and the same stories are echoed across the industry. So it is an industry issue.
And when you appreciate, don't you, you're buying a depreciating asset, don't you?
Yes.
When you go into this. So to that extent, you go in with your eyes open. I guess the question that we are asking, and the question that Kelly will be asking, is to what extent then, when you're getting the sales spiel, you're being misled? And is that the kernel of this, Carole?
Yes, it is. Yes. It's not what you're being told. It's what you're not being told. The parks operate under consumer laws. and consumer laws state that you should be given all the information. And that includes what kind of depreciation you can be looking at. Nothing like that is ever mentioned in the sales spiel. And of course, when it comes to selling, the consumer gets such a big shock because they put so much money into this caravan that they don't actually realise it's not worth what they've paid.
And are there, on some occasions, are people, and I'm not suggesting this is the case with Kelly, but she was talking about getting income. Are people is it suggested they are buying an asset rather than something that is going to lose value? Because I'm sure promises are made, aren't they, about income, rental income and all the rest of it?
Absolutely, yeah. The salesmen are on commission. And the commission is a large commission that they get for every van they sell. So, they will sell at all cost.
Not everywhere. When you say the salesman, I'm sure there are parks out there that are far more sympathetic, aren't they, to the purchasers?
Well, I'm not so sure.
Oh, really?
Mm.
Yeah. So, where does this go then, Carole? Where do people like Kelly now? Where can they expect to end up with this? How fast is this moving? What are your plans for the action?
The legal claim is moving very fast. It's taken us a good 14 months working with the barrister who pressed the news, amazing, and his team, to get all this in place. Once it was all in place and ready to go, we could push it out, which was just before Christmas. Now it is firing. It is really going. So we now want to take this into a high court, so that we can determine that pitch fee increases are unfair. The clauses in the agreements are unfair. People are not being told what they need to hear.
OK, thank you very much, Carole Keeble from the Holiday Park Action Group. Thank you so much to Kelly Hughes from Kent as well. Of course, all of these sites operate on according to different terms. There will be, I'm sure, plenty who do feel that they operate fairly, and the British Holiday and Home Park Association say that it's not appropriate to comment on the legal action at this point. The National Caravan Council says it's aware of the legal action, but also won't be commenting.